Hey, what is going on everybody, it's Steven here, welcome back to another Chinese mini PC review, and today we have here the Tronsmart Ara X5. I hope I pronounced it correctly, we'll just call it the Tronsmart X5, and you can get this one here on geekbuying.com for the cheap price of $150 right now. So this is a little box which is a fully working Windows 10 PC. It can also play 3D games and it's really nice actually for the price. Can replace a working PC or Surf Station or whatever, and you can also use it with your TV. So well, I would say let's get directly started with the review, and don't forget to check out the link down below in the description. As always guys, let's talk a little bit about the specs first. So the processor, it's the latest Cherry Trail C8300 64-bit quad-core processor, clocks up to 1.8 GHz. The GPU, the 16U Gen 8 graphics, it comes with 2 GB of DDR3. Now that's not too much, but it's definitely okay to run Windows 10 and also some 3D games. The internal storage, 32 GB of eMMC storage. Now it can be extended with microSD cards. Video formats, yeah, the T is missing here. Well, it can play back H.264, H.265 up to 4K 30 FPS, so that's really nice, and we'll definitely try the 4K playback. Then here you can see the audio formats, picture formats, blah blah blah. It supports dual band Wi-Fi and comes with Bluetooth. It even has USB 3.0, which is a nice thing, Ethernet but 100 Mbits only. So if you want to use that as a kind of server with a lot of data transmission, then well, just keep in mind it will maybe be a little bit slow with the 100 Mbits cap. Okay, yeah, 5 volts, 3 amps is the power supply, so 15 watts, but with the measurements of the power consumption, I have to say it consumes way less than 15 watts. Okay, and it runs a licensed copy of Windows 10 Home. This is really important because usually with those Chinese TV boxes, you get some really crappy license of Windows and then you have to activate it, and this is a pain in the ass, but here we have a licensed copy of Windows 10, which is really nice. So guys, let's go and let's do a quick unboxing, and here we have the box, so Tronsmart Ara X5, and there we go, let's open it up. And here at the top we have the mini PC, so you can see it here, Tronsmart. Looks really nice, very glossy, reflects everything, and it's a real fingerprint magnet. And there we go, so it's a very small box which is capable of running Windows 10, and yeah, it's a fully working PC, so that's really cool. Now yeah, before we have a closer look at the mini PC, I would say let's put it beside and let's have a look at the accessories. So here you can see the Tronsmart Ara X5 quick start guide. Well, kind of useless because all you have to do is just hook it up to the power supply, HDMI, and there you go, you can already use it. Okay, then let's have a look at the accessories, so what we can find here inside of the box, and there we go. Oh, well, that's not really fancy. We just have here the power supply. Now, the power supply looks kinda cheap, but it's really heavy actually. If we have a look here at the output, it's 3 amps at 5 volts, that's 15 watts, and yeah, I can tell you the power consumption is way less. And we have here DC in connector, sorry, so really nothing special in here, and no need to use an adapter, so it comes with the correct power socket connector for your country. Alright, next thing, we have here the HDMI cable, and it supports 4K up to 30 FPS. So let's have a look here at the HDMI cable. It's gold plated as you can see, and it's around 60 centimeters long. Okay, so that's what you can find inside the box, actually all you need. So you just need the mini PC, you need the power supply, and you need the HDMI cable to hook it up to your monitor. And this is exactly what I will do right now. I will just hook it up to my system and then show you my setup. So guys, before we hook it up to my test system, let me maybe show you the mini PC here a little bit and let me give you my opinion on it. So well, on the top side here looks very nice, Tronsmart logo, but it's very glossy, so you can see all the fingerprints on there and dirt, and it looks really cool, but only when it's clean. So here we have a little lamp symbol, and basically this lights up in white when the mini PC is on or connected to power. An LED would look a little bit better, but well, it's okay. Then let's have a look here at the front side, and here you can see 2 USB ports. Now, they are kind of close together, but yeah, it works with almost all my USB devices. USB 2.0, and if you have USB devices with a very big connector, probably, yeah, because they're so close together, you can only connect one of them. Here we have the 3.5mm jack, and this is a dual jack for headsets, so for the microphone and for the speakers. Now I prefer dual jacks just because you don't need an adapter cable, and yeah, you can use normal headsets. Here you need an adapter if you have, for instance, a pink connector for the microphone and a green connector for the speakers, but it's okay. It's just a solution on this mini PC. Here we have the power button to turn it on or off. Feels really good to press. Here on the left side there is nothing. Also here on the right side there is actually nothing. And here we have the back side. So as you can see here on the back side we have a lot of connectors. Now on the left side we have the DC in check. So for the power supply, here we have the Ethernet connector, so 100 Mbits, as I've told you before. Here the HDMI port, and well, it's very close here to the USB port. By the way, the blue one here is an USB 3.0 port, and the only problem is if you have an HDMI cable with a big casing around the connector, then maybe you can't use the USB 3.0 port because they are very close together. Now for most of my USB devices it works, but for instance my hard drive has a very fat connector and then I can't connect it here. Okay, and last but not least, here we have the micro SD card bay. So basically you can extend your internal memory up to 128 gigabytes. And these days, those micro SD cards are very affordable. Now let's have a look here on the back side. And yeah, here on the bottom side actually, there are ventilation holes to keep the system cool. And it's completely fanless, so makes absolutely no noise. Here once again rated 5 volts 3 amps, so 15 watts, and the model number. It has here also 2 holes to mount it on the back side of a monitor, so basically yeah, to use it as a all-in-one PC mounted to your monitor, which is a very cool thing. And here we have some rubber stands so that it doesn't slide around when it's on your table. Alright guys, so that's basically the mini PC here from all sides. Nothing too fancy, so some very simple design, but I have to say a lot of power in this little box. Right guys, now let me show you my test setup, and unfortunately it's here on my main review table, so as soon as we move into our new office I will get my own benchmark station. But well, today it looks like this, a little bit chaotic, but let me explain that. So on the desk we have the Tronsmart TV box, a mini PC, and it's connected here to a 4K Samsung monitor. The monitor is the U28D590D, and it's an older generation Samsung 4K monitor which can only do 4K at 30 Hz on HDMI. On DisplayPort, well, 60 Hz, but 30 Hz is exactly what the TV box can do. Then it's already up and running, so display to the desktop looks incredibly sharp. And yeah, I have here a little device which was quite expensive to exactly measure the power consumption, so what it drains from the power socket. And currently, with displaying the desktop here, and also if I move my cursor around, it stays below 8 watts. So in idle, really, we just have 5 to 8 watts power consumption. And this is incredible. So I really can't believe that it can display here 4K on my monitor by just using around 8 watts maximum. Also, if I just open here the start bar and everything. So this is really great. Then let's have a look here at the TV box itself. And here you can see it's up and running, but you can't see the LED right now because it's very bright in here. I'm using all the ports. So I have here 2 USB ports, first of all here for my keyboard. And I'm using the mini PC just like a normal desktop with the keyboard, here with the mouse, Cougar mouse by the way, connected to the mini PC. Here I'm using the audio out, or basically also microphone in, which is a single 3.5mm jack. Using it with that microphone, headset here, also from Gamdias. Then let's have a look at the back side. And here we have power in, so that's from the power supply. Then here Ethernet connector, so internet is working but Wi-Fi has huge issues, as I will tell you later. Here HDMI, which is connected here to the Samsung monitor. And last but not least, yeah, actually there's something more. There's a micro SD card slot, and I have in there a 64GB micro SD card, which is working really great. And here we have the USB 3.0 port. Unfortunately, this port has low speeds and it can't even power a single Western Digital My Passport. And also here my older hard drive, so I've tested various 3.0 hard drives and it's not able to power any of these. So that's really bad. I'm not really sure what's the problem. Maybe it can't output so much power to power them. Or maybe another issue because they're actually running up, so you can hear them spinning up, but they won't get detected, always says unsupported device or whatever. So it seems that there is a huge problem with the USB 3.0 port. Okay, that's basically my test setup, and I would say I'll now just reboot the box and show you the BIOS a little bit. Now guys, I quickly booted in the BIOS for you to show you that and what you can adjust here. So it's the American Megatrends BIOS, as you can see. Yeah, we can see that it comes with 2GB of DDR3 memory, and yeah, let's go here to the right side to the advanced settings. So in here we have trusted computing, we have ACPI settings, basically just enable and disable. We have here the settings for the serial ports, but I want to have a closer look at the CPU configuration. Now on the box it says it clocks up to 1.8 GHz, but if we have a look here at the CPU information, then you can see that it only clocks with 1.66. Now I'm not really sure if there's something like a boost to boost it up to 1.8 GHz, but we'll check it out in the system. Alright, so the minimum CPU speed is 480 MHz. And here you can see also the thermal configuration. So basically I think the maximum is 90 degrees or something like that. 64-bit is supported, and also here power technology. So basically you can also disable that or set your custom power management. Okay, let's go here to ppm, nothing special, thermal configuration. Here you can see the critical point is something like 90 degrees, or here 105 degrees. So I will see how hot it gets when we're in the system. There are also Android settings in there, and basically if we have a look, for instance, at system component, I think it was in here. Actually not. So there are many things to adjust here in the BIOS. This is just crazy. Here we also have chipset settings. So basically for the integrated graphics, you can set here the amount of memory it should use. So for instance here, maximum memory 512 megabytes. So well, with 2 gigabytes of RAM, it would actually be good to keep that on default, so 256 megabytes. 65 actually, sorry. Here you can see a lot of things to adjust, but please, if you're not sure what you're doing here, then just keep your hands off. Now memory is clocking with 1600 megahertz, and we have here 2000 megabytes in one slot. It seems that there is a second slot, but pretty sure it's soldered onto the mainboard and not upgradable. Okay, also Southbridge settings as always, audio, USB, blah blah blah, PCI Express, nothing interesting. So here you can also set different boot options like the Windows Boot Manager or UEFI, and yeah, here you can save and exit the changes and also override the boot, so with what it should actually boot. Okay, so that's a pretty cool thing. The American Megatrends BIOS, as you can see, is very customizable, and there are many things to adjust in here, but for sure there's no overclocking because it's a very small box without any cooling, so it's completely fanless, and it also would make no sense to overclock it since it already runs at the maximum of around 90 degrees under heavy load. So guys, let's talk a little bit about power consumption. I currently run a 3DMark benchmark, and yeah, usually when it's on idle it drains around 5 to 6, 7 watts, and when it's under heavy load, so currently here in 3DMark, it gets up to 14 watts, but below 15, and the power consumption is really nice. So really under 100% load it drains less than 14 watts from the power socket, and this is incredible. I can't really believe that such a small box with that low power consumption can run my 4K monitor, and this is really nice. Alright guys, so we're now here on the computer. I'm currently using the screen recorder because for some reason I always get blue screens with my capture card. Very strange issue. I've never had that on a mini PC except of the Tronsmart. Okay, then let's have a closer look here at the system, and we can go here quickly to System Settings, and here you can see it's the Tronsmart Ara X5 with the Intel Atom X5 C8300, but the stock clock is 1.44 GHz. 2 gigs of RAM, blah blah blah, and you see Windows is activated. So that's pretty good. It comes with an OEM license, and you don't get some pirated copy from Windows 10. Okay, that's basically everything here in system. Then I have to say, regarding Wi-Fi, my Wi-Fi absolutely doesn't work. So Wi-Fi is totally broken. In the device manager, if we go to network adapters, you will see here the Broadcom 802.11 wireless adapter, and well, it's actually correctly installed, but I'm unable to connect to any network. This is not working at all. I can show you quickly here the network and sharing center, and there we also have the adapters. So you see Wi-Fi not connected, not even the symbol shows up, even if I plug the Ethernet connector or disable it, and we can quickly do that. So Wi-Fi is absolutely broken. I have no idea what's going on with Wi-Fi, but here you can see now the Wi-Fi symbol. It doesn't find a network. Oh well, now it finds a network, but let's try to connect. Okay, so let me enter here my password and let's connect here to my home network, and there we go. And you see, it tries to connect right now, verifying and connecting. For some reason, the 5 GHz signal is totally low. As you can see, the 2.4 GHz signal is really good, but here 5 GHz, absolutely nothing. Then you see the wireless adapter disables itself, then it says can't connect to this device. I tried an access point from my smartphone, it can't connect. Sometimes even the driver uninstalls itself, so the adapter is gone, you have to reinstall it. And yeah, there is something broken with that, and this has to be fixed. And I'm not the only person. There are many people reporting Wi-Fi is broken, and I can just confirm it. There are some huge issues. I'm using the latest drivers, but something in here is really broken, and without Wi-Fi, this device is almost useless for me. If there's an update, if it gets fixed, because we're going to use that device daily for our load tester, then I will definitely tell you that there's an update and post an annotation into the video or description. But so far, Ethernet works really good, but Wi-Fi is unfortunately broken. So that's the only bad thing. So I'm just using the Ethernet connector to get into the internet. Alright, then let's have a look here at, for instance, sorry, I just wanted to go to my PC. I really hate Windows 10. So yeah, here you can see the main hard drive, actually 28.6 gigabytes eMMC storage. This is really not a lot, so I would prefer to pay a little bit more for the device, but also get maybe 64 gigabytes, would be really helpful. Then here, if you extend your internal memory by using a micro SD card, you will see it here as secure digital storage device, not like a hard drive, so just like an SD drive. But for sure you can store data on there. And yeah, the next thing is USB drives. Unfortunately, I was not able to power my USB 3 hard drive from the USB 3 port. I can quickly show you what happens if I connect the hard drive. Maybe it happens again. So we'll just say the device cannot start up, and this in the USB 3 port. So this shouldn't happen. And also on my desktop PC, this Western Digital hard drive has low power consumption. It works also even on USB 2.0 ports. But here for some reason, yeah, it's not working at all. It's connected actually right now, but you see nothing happens. The device itself, I can feel that it spins up, but it does not get detected by the computer. So I'm unable to use single USB hard drives on that mini PC, and this is also a real pain in the ass. Okay, that's regarding the storage. I can now show you, for instance, the performance here. So well, it can also deal with all the effects here in Windows 10, so transparent glass, and it feels really smooth. If you open something up, it's quite responsive, but only on full HD. We're currently recording with full HD, but I could also switch, for instance, to 4K. So I can show you quickly the display settings, and we have here advanced display settings, and here you can see it supports a maximum of 4K. But if you're using 4K, it feels very spongy, so the cursor is, yeah, it doesn't feel that smooth like on Full HD. On Full HD, if you move your mouse, it feels like an extension of your arm. On 4K, it feels like there's some small delay. It's not a lot, but you can definitely feel that it's a little bit slow. So guys, I think it's now time to talk about the actual performance and benchmarks. And well, I'm not a huge fan of benchmarks because they don't really tell you the performance, just numbers in relation to other devices. But well, for sure I did some. But first of all, I want to get started here with SpeedFan, just to tell you the temperatures. Now, there are many comments on the internet that Tronsmart is bad because their products overheat and whatever. Okay, if I put my hand right now on the mini PC, it gets quite warm though. Yeah, in idle currently, so like 30% CPU load here, as you can see, it reaches around 70 degrees maximum. Now, if you do heavy gaming, it gets up to 80, 82 degrees, and yeah, it's actually capped, so the maximum temperature should be 90 degrees, so the chipset is made for that. And that's okay, so that's within the specification, nothing to say about that. Now, we can also have a look here at GPU-C. So here, for instance, the temperature currently of the GPU, which is 60 degrees, so really okay. 500 megahertz core clock, and the memory is clocked at 800 megahertz, and here you can see also the memory usage from the shared memory. GPU load here in idle below 10%. Yeah, the graphics card, I will just leave you all that, or you can just take a screenshot. So here you can see all the data of the Intel HD graphics, so the integrated graphics and Cherry Trail. But honestly, I have to say, I don't really give a shit about those numbers. Here's CPU-C, and here you can see it's the Intel Atom X5 C8300. It clocks from 480 MHz up to the 1.6 GHz, but not to the 1.8 GHz as it says on the package. Here the cache, mainboard, well, memory, you see it comes with around 2 GB of DDR3 memory, which is clocked at 800 MHz. And yeah, that's basically it. It's nothing special in here. For sure, I did also do a read and write test, so of the internal memory, and we get here sequential 162 megabytes per second, and writing we get around 80 megabytes per second. So this is with Crystal Disk Mark, and I have to say it's okay for an eMMC storage, but I don't really care about those numbers anyway. So I just have a look at the overall performance. I did also do a 3D Mark benchmark. The link is down below in the description. You just have to open up the link and then you can check it out. In Firestrike we get 200. In Skydiver we get 800, in CloudGate 1500, in iStorm 15500. So the Firestrike score is very low, so better than 0% of the results. We can have a look here at iStorm. Now in iStorm, for instance, I would have to compare that, but well, not really familiar with 3D Mark. Here you can see it's actually a very low score if you compare that to an Office PC in 2013, which is based on an AMD A8. But well, the Radeon HD 7560D is definitely better than the integrated Intel HD graphics. Okay. Yeah, here once again the processor, you see maximum clock, blah blah blah, and 31 GB of Hynix HBG4E storage. Alright, so that are the benchmarks, but well, the benchmarks don't really tell us something about the actual performance. So well, regarding the Windows performance, I have to say in Full HD it's really responsive and it feels like a normal desktop PC, so that's really good. Also I can use Bandicam here for recording and there is no major lag. But if we switch to 4K, what we'll do right now, then you will see it gets a little bit more spongy, if I can say it like that, so it doesn't feel so smooth anymore. Then we'll do a quick gaming test, yeah, a movie test with Kodi, which is also installed here, and also, yeah, the normal media player. So I would say, let's get directly started, let's do the media tests, and after all this, yeah, you will hear my final conclusion about this device. So guys, I've now switched to 4K resolution and I'm filming with my camera just that you can see how responsive that is. And yeah, if I move my mouse, it feels pretty good, but it doesn't feel that smooth like in Full HD. Then if I open something up, like for instance, I don't know, let's go here to System. It takes a bit, but you see it's still kind of smooth and also quite fast. Also if you resize here Windows, then there is a little delay, and you also notice that it annoys me actually a little bit because I just like to work on very snappy and fast computers, but it's okay. Also if you drag and drop Windows here, that feels a little bit better. Alright, then let's maybe go to YouTube so I can show you here movie playback on 4K. So well, here's my channel, let's just take one of my videos because I don't want to get a copyright strike, and there we go. So we can switch here to another resolution, and come on. Yeah, I have to skip the damn ads. Why I do have ads on my videos. Okay, quality, we can switch here to 4K, 2160p. And let's do it full screen. Now well, my internet connection is a little bit slow, so buffering will take a while right now, and just give me a second. Okay guys, the video buffered a bit, and let's just hit the play button. And well, as you can see, it's kinda slow and laggy, so well, kinda bad frame rate. And yeah, you see, it's not really a lot of fun to watch 4K movies here on YouTube on the Tronsmart Ara X5. But well, let's try different resolutions. Let's switch here to Full HD. But well, it will still keep 4K resolution on the desktop. And there we go. So we have now HD resolution, Full HD actually. And you see it's still laggy, so if you have 4K output as your desktop resolution, then even Full HD movies here are kinda laggy. We can switch to 720p, then you will see it's quite okay, but still not really good. And there we go. Let's hit the play button. And it's a little bit smoother, but still you see it's kinda laggy. Okay, that's 4K playback and HD playback and everything here in the browser. So I have to say, it really struggles with 4K. Now, nothing is really smooth on 4K. We can also just try to playback here a 4K trailer. So most of them are H.264, and we also have some H.265 samples. But let's playback The Hobbit 4K, and there we go. So this is from my mini PC test kit. And yeah, it's the trailer of Hobbit in 4K. We're using here the VLC media player. And there you go. Let's skip a bit forward. You see, yeah, the picture actually doesn't move, or sometimes it moves, then it lags in between, so it's very slow on buffering, and 4K playback is really not good here in the Tronsmart Ara X5. We can also try this here with different movie files. Actually, there's not a huge difference, I can really tell you that. It performs pretty much the same, but let's open up Kodi and let's check out the 4K playback in Kodi. And there we go. So if you really want to use it as a 4K box, then I would say get yourself a different TV box or mini PC, because it's a little bit too slow. Okay, we can play it from my USB drive, but I also have it on my desktop, but there's not a huge difference. And yeah, let's try to play back, for instance, The Hobbit 4K again. And yeah, here it works actually pretty good, but you will see that it's still stuttering and kind of laggy, so it's not a lot of fun to watch anything here in 4K. And yeah, it's H.264, I also tested H.265, I tested different audio codecs, and basically it struggles with everything, and there is not a smooth playback of those 4K files. Okay, so that's basically how we have here some H.265 movie. MKV. That's a bit better, but this is only full HD, and you see also in full HD it's not 100% smooth, and yeah, also H.265 and 4K is really laggy, so I don't really enjoy watching that. But Kodi works actually really good in full HD, and that's what we will do right now. So I will just switch to full HD and then we'll have a look at the movie performance again. So guys, I switched now to full HD resolution, so let's try to playback The Hobbit 4K again. And yeah, it's way more smooth than on 4K, but it still struggles a little bit with that big file. And there we go, let's skip a little bit forward. So you see that's way faster, and the movie playback is almost smooth, but yeah, it's still not really smooth. So there is some kind of lag in between, which is not that good, but it's watchable. If you just play back some full HD movie, like for instance that GTA trailer in 60 FPS, we can also do that, and there we go. Then you will see this is way more smooth than any 4K file. So here we have some really smooth movie playback. And yeah, full HD is no problem at all. So if you want to use it as a media box or home server for full HD, that's no problem. But for 4K, the hardware is still too weak in my opinion. And yeah, we can also have a look at Kodi again, and let's play back some files here in Kodi to check out the performance. And there we go, videos. Yeah, sorry, it's still set to 4K. I have to switch here to full HD resolution. And there we go. So we have here, no, sorry, it's under system, I guess. Yeah, resolution. You see it fully supports 4K here in Kodi, but it's not a really great experience. So we'll switch now to full HD resolution. And for some reason the scaling is also really crappy. So the scaling from the GPU sometimes, if you switch in any application to full HD and not 4K, then I see just like this picture here on my 4K monitor. Then I have to play around with the scaling to get it back on full screen, which is really kind of annoying. But we can try to play back something here. Yeah, let's try to play back, for instance, The Hobbit 4K once again here in Kodi. And yeah, Kodi can deal pretty well with those big files, as you can see. It's way better than Media Player VLC. And full HD resolution in Kodi is definitely great. So if you want to use it for streaming full HD, I could also stream from my other computer, from my desktop, and it was really good. So I had no problem at all. Just keep in mind that the Ethernet port is just 100 Mbits and not a gigabit. Okay, yeah, that's Kodi. It should now switch back to full screen, so the scaling from the GPU really sucks. And yeah, I would say let's do a quick gaming test here, and my final conclusion on the movie playback is on full HD, it playbacks really everything pretty nice, H.264, H.265, 4K files, 60 FPS files, but on 4K basically everything lags, and it's worse than on some Android TV boxes I've had, so for 4K playback I wouldn't use it at all. So guys, I think it's time to talk a little bit about gaming. Now it handles old 3D games pretty well, and with old I mean very old. Like here, Day of Defeat 1.6, so everything based on the old Half-Life engine, like Counter-Strike 1.6. Oh, what the fuck is going on? There is something which really annoys me, and I also have this problem, for instance, in Counter-Strike Source. And this is the problem that it sometimes just has a huge delay between the mouse movements. Now moving the cursor, it feels a little bit like there's some delay. Then when I shoot, I press now the button. Okay, now it works, but now I try to shoot. If I move and try to shoot, you see, it sometimes doesn't detect it, and it's really strange. So actually it makes games sometimes unplayable. And I have this problem here in shooters. So here in Day of Defeat, I mean the frame rate is really okay, but I'm not really sure what's going on here with the mouse movement. And this really sucks. And also if I press shoot and it doesn't shoot, then it's really crappy. And we can try the same in Counter-Strike Source, which also worked, but somehow, it didn't take my mouse movements. So guys, we're now here in Counter-Strike Source on the mini PC, and well, it works actually pretty good regarding the frame rate, sometimes FPS drops, but here on low graphic settings and we're playing with full HD resolution, it works pretty good. There are some issues with scaling, so sometimes you have to switch between full screen and windowed mode, and that in various applications. So somehow the graphics driver has issues to scale it up to full screen sometimes. And we're currently here in Counter-Strike, as I've said before, and we are playing, and it works pretty good regarding the frame rate. But there are some major issues, and the same issue I have also had in Day of Defeat, so in the old one, in other shooters, and this is the problem if you run. Like I now keep pressing the W button and I try to shoot, then there is some really huge delay sometimes. So sometimes it just doesn't detect that I'm shooting. And if I stand still, I'm now tapping the mouse button, it works. And if I run and I start to tap the mouse button here, like right now, can you hear that? It doesn't shoot. If I stop and tap it, it works. So this is really a pain in the ass. So actually you can't really run and shoot, and I have this in some other games too, so I'm not really sure what's the problem. Somehow the mini PC can't detect that there is dual input, like you use the keyboard and the mouse at the same time, and I'm not really sure what's the issue. Maybe it's too slow for that or whatever. I have this problem actually in all shooters, and that's really bad because I can't really play any of those shooters because there is some huge delay and some huge lag. Well, here for instance some other game, Trine 2, and such games really in full HD resolution, they are kind of laggy because there are so many effects. So this is actually what I wanted to show. If you play games with low graphics and low effects, for instance also Counter-Strike Source, which has pretty decent graphics I would say, runs because there are almost no effects. And if you run such a side 3D game here like this one here, it lags in full HD because you see there are many glow effects and whatever, so it can't really deal with that. But it's playable in HD resolution, not full HD. And Minecraft for instance is also really playable, also with some effects on, and that's pretty good. But the device could have a little bit more RAM because Minecraft usually also needs a little bit more RAM to run really fluid. Alright guys, so that was just another gaming test. So all in all, gaming performance is not really bad, but also nothing to replace your desktop. So it's really a cheap little device which you can connect to your monitor at work, or for instance to your TV in your living room. But a real desktop replacement, I would say no actually. So ladies and gentlemen, we're here at the end of this review, and now let me give you my quick and final conclusion about the Tronsmart Ara X5. So all in all, it's a nice mini PC. It's very small as you can see, and it's a pretty cool thing, but I wouldn't use it as desktop replacement replacement or as media server. Now let me give you my thoughts about that and why I wouldn't use it. So first of all, Wi-Fi isn't working for me, so that's a real issue, and there are several people who have the same problem. You just need to go to the Ara X5 download page on the Tronsmart website. You will see people asking for the Wi-Fi driver because it's totally broken. I can't connect to my Wi-Fi network, and that's the only bad thing right now. But this is a software issue, and I'm pretty sure it gets fixed soon. So I don't think that's a hardware issue. But we have an Ethernet port on the backside. That's pretty good. So you can use it instead of Wi-Fi, but Wi-Fi needs to be fixed. So this is one of the main things where I would say, that's bad on this device. Now the next thing is why I wouldn't use it, because the 4K performance is kind of low. So it can do 4K. That's no problem at all. For desktop use, it's okay. So you can edit your Excel sheets, you can check out pictures, and the performance for that is really okay. But as soon as it comes to movie playback, you see there's a lot of stuttering, and this is not nice. On full HD, it does the job pretty well. So with a power consumption below 15 watts, full HD playback, that's pretty good. And yeah, sometimes if you have really big files, it needs some time to buffer, or there's a little bit amount of lag, but it playbacks H.264, H.265 codecs, and yeah, that's very good, but the 4K performance is kind of bad. Full HD performance is good, Wi-Fi needs definitely to be fixed, power consumption is very nice, and the next thing is that the USB 3 port on the backside, you can see the blue one here, it couldn't power my single USB 3.0 hard drives, and that's a real issue. So I can't actually use any external hard drive here, which doesn't have an external power source, because the USB port somehow can't power it, and that's really bad. Also, they don't get detected, and I heard that the write speeds are very low, so it's like 30% of real USB 3.0, something like that. You can check out some reviews online. Honestly, I have to say I couldn't test it because my hard drives didn't even spin up or get detected by the Tronsmart. But all in all, nice device, keeps quite cool, 80 degrees. It sounds not much, but the chipset is made for 90 degrees, so it's okay. It gets quite warm when you touch it, but no overheating that it throttles or shuts down. I had some blue screens, I have to say that, but this is due to HDMI with my capture card and some issues in Windows 10, and also it's a real problem to boot from USB. So in order to reinstall the system, you have to follow a tutorial from Tronsmart, and it's not that easy. Okay, also I would like to see dual boot, like Windows 10 and Android, which would be really nice. And in the BIOS you have seen that there is something about Android, so I'm pretty sure it can support dual boot. So why should you buy that or use it actually? Now, as a full HD media station for your TV, it's kind of nice because you have really a fully working Windows PC. You can mount it on the backside of a monitor, for instance, for a desktop computer, office computer. So if you're in an office and you don't want to have power wasters because you don't need SLI to edit your Excel sheets, then you can use that little device. It does the job pretty well for office use, but also for gaming it's quite okay, older 3D games, but everything which is new or shooters, as you have seen, well, it's somehow too slow and it stutters a little bit, and then also mouse and keyboard doesn't work really together, so you hit the shooting button, but nothing happens. There's some huge delay, and well, forget shooters, casual 3D games, 2D games, League of Legends shouldn't be a problem, but anything else than that, the hardware is too weak in my opinion. Alright guys, so that was my full review of the Tronsmart Ara X5. Some in-depth testing on this device will follow when there's an update, because we're going to use that in our office for our test station. And well, you can find a link down below in the description to check this little device out. All in all, I had a lot of fun testing it, and I hope you too. Next review will come soon, so stay tuned, stay fresh, bye bye, and see you soon.